This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.
I said, hi, I'm supposed to meet my uncle somewhere. Oh yeah, he's in the back room. He's waiting for you. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Am I going to get a permit?
Things that could happen. Are you going to get waxed?
I went to the back room and there's Donnie naked on a table getting full body wax.
Yes.
And I don't have any words. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And he goes, same thing you're about to do, dude. Get naked. What? He says, this part of the gig, man. You got to wear a diaper on stage. You got a loincloth for the whole show, pretty much.
Yeah.
You got to clean it up, you know what I mean?
Welcome to the ZuLoo Poodcast, where we talk all things poop, toilets, and sanitation. Through insightful news, impact stories, and quirky humor, we aim to discuss and highlight the critical role toilets play in whisking poop out of our lives, the impact toilets have, or lack thereof, in the health and wellness of humanity, and what ZuLoo is doing to help solve the current global sanitation crisis.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another fantastic episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast. And hey, there is some debate as to whether or not this is our 100th episode, but we're going to go ahead and call it our 100th episode because why not? This is like, you know.
Right, it's epic.
So we have a really special guest on today, David Osmond. In case you've been like living under a rock for the last 100 years and you've never heard of the Osmonds.
Who?
I mean, we were just discussing, I think everyone here has a connection to your family in one way or another, but
I should be interviewing you guys. I got some questions. Honestly.
You're like, how does
He's not quite sure how we ended up here on the Poodcast.
TSA, almost every single time I go through TSA, especially because it says Utah and Osmond, usually get one of these like double takes.
Yeah.
So are you like one of the Osmonds?
and
I shouldn't play stupid to TSA because that's really dumb, but I kind of do because it's just fun.
Yeah,
like,
because why not?
What are you talking about? Like, well, you know what I mean. Donnie and Marie, right? I have no idea what you're talking about. You're like, you don't know? I get honestly, it's like a goal of mine. I get TSA singing Puppy Love and Paper Roses to me.
Oh my God, get out.
Who is it? Like, whatever, dude. I'm like, Paper Rose.
Right?
Like, how does it go? And they called it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I'm gonna want to start singing.
The follow up then is okay. The next question.
Right.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah. Well, okay, so
my dad is Alan Osmond.
Thank you. Yeah, give us a little bit of background on you. Like, where do you fall in the Osmond dynasty?
One of the million.
Right.
Yeah. My dad wrote a song, by the way, in honor of your 100th episode. It's look who's turning one. Oh. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
He did it for the city of Orem that just turned 100 a couple years ago. He's writing songs. Really, it was for the Poodcast. You guys own that.
It
song.
was a premonition. He knew it was going to happen. He's like, because we are in Orem.
That's right. We are in the Graceland, the heart of everyone here. We're all cousins, right?
Probably. If we go back far enough, yes, I'm sure we are.
Just go to the Costco and you just see a million of them.
Right.
No, my dad is the leader of the singing Osmonds. He's number 3 in a family of 9 kids. So there's 8 boys, 1 girl. Marie's the only girl. And my dad is number 3, but the oldest of the performers. So his 2 older brothers just before him, Verl and Tom, were born deaf. Hard of hearing. In fact, my grandma was told after those 2 boys, don't have any more kids because they're all going to be deaf. And she didn't listen, had 7 more, and they all became singers.
There you go.
And because of their influence, though, however, it was because of my dad, the next born, Alan Wayne Merrill J., that they became this barbershop quartet when they were just kids out of Ogden, Utah. And they wanted to perform because they realized, wow, we can make money doing this. And they wanted to so they could buy hearing aids for their older brothers. So it was about
this is awesome.
It was cool.
History I've never heard before.
It's awesome. And my grandpa was a singer. My grandma was a saxophone player, and so music was in the house.
Your grandma was a saxophone player?
She's awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
He was a drill sergeant in the Army,
cool.
a master sergeant during World War II. She was the heart. He was the brute. And so the brothers, the 8 boys, didn't have bedrooms. They had barracks and inspections.
Wow.
And Marie had a lot of bodyguards.
She was the queen.
And still is.
She still is. Yeah, let's be real.
But I grew up in this family that I just thought this was normal. Totally not normal. But
normal's relative.
And I have 7 brothers. I have no sisters. So this is a crazy environment. And I've been singing since I was a wee lad, a little kid. And I love music. And my three older brothers, we became a barbershop quartet, just like my dad. And he trained us and taught us the exact same stuff that he did, the same routines. And then when Bob Hope discovered us, put us on his Christmas television specials in the 80s, it kind of took off from there. We evolved into a boy band, used to tour with like the New Kids on the Block, signed with Epic Sony, Curb Records, and toured all over the world. Music's been my life. And had an amazing career, still singing, still performing, but doing a lot of other things as well.
Yeah, you have, branched off into a lot of different areas, and I do want to talk about that. I have a very short side story that is, that's connected to you and your family. So, David and I actually grew up just a few streets away from each other.
We just made this, at least I did, made this
reconnect. Yeah, he just figured out. I already knew this. But when I was young, I had a British nanny who came to America just because of the Osmonds.
Wow.
Yes, really? She just fell in love.
Oh, she's the one that was going to marry Donnie. I heard about her.
But anyway,
I believe it.
That's awesome.
She
that's
came
amazing.
to Utah, and somehow my parents found her. They connected. And anyway, we go to church for the first time with this British nanny, and there your parents were. And she lost her mind.
She crapped her pants.
She might have.
This isn't the poo story that we're going to talk about. Okay. But my British nanny came over for the Osmonds and then ended up being in their ward. And she would drive past Osmond Lane and just do one of these. Like this, the reverence she had for your family. And anyway, and it was all connected to the church for her. She joined the church because she, found it through the Osmonds, and it was a very, very cool story.
That's really special.
Anyway,
Osmond Lane was a magical place.
It was a magical place.
This gated community, the best Halloween candy, the best Christmas lights.
They always had the best candy bars.
Oh yeah, I still go up there and trick or treat.
You get the full bars, right?
Yes,
full bars.
Absolutely. Or those huge pixie sticks. Do you remember those massive pixie sticks?
Yes.
They were so good.
Yes.
The Left Witches always gave out pixie sticks.
The Left Witch, Jack Leftwich.
Yes, exactly.
He best candy bars and the pixie sticks, and he was our carpooler. So he had his kind of creepy van. It was kind of a creepy van, but he would go around and pick all the kids. He was such a cool guy. I actually had a chance to go and sing at his funeral. It was such a tribute to be there, and always kept touch with the Left Witches. They were awesome. But they would come around and carpool all the kids, and they were a great community to give back. But there were moments too, because it's Osmond Lane, you had to kind of watch your back a little bit. We didn't know as kids, but I do remember opening the door when it rang one time, and there's this weirdly weird guy staring back at me, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Jesus Christ."
Oh, wow.
I'm here to marry Marie. Is she here? I'm like, Dad.
Oh my God.
So my dad, thinking really quick, he's like, "Oh, you know what? She doesn't live here. She actually lives at the very first house at the top of the lane. That's where she's at." But you could tell the guy was off his rocker.
Oh my gosh.
So my dad goes over and calls the authorities, says, "Hey, you might want to come up here and check out this guy." And so by the time he got to the front lane of the house, they were able to greet him.
Wow. I mean, you guys didn't make it hard to find
yourselves.
And just
protect everyone.
The Osmonds on Osmond Lane. I'm sure you had a few of those.
And not just my brothers.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, they're awesome. I grew up in a very cool environment, and for the most part, the majority, there are so many incredibly supportive people, like your nanny. I've known since just I was a kid. They've known me before I knew my family.
Yeah,
right.
And the stories that come out. In fact, just this week, my dad released his memoir. He's been working on for over 20 years.
About that.
A lot of roadblocks and things that he's come up against, but finally got this story out. He was the only one of all the Osmonds hasn't put his story out. And as the oldest, the leader of the group, the spokesperson, the songwriter, he has a lot of great memories. And when Donnie stopped by this week to surprise him, and the fans out the door that flew in from all over the world, I learned stories about my dad I didn't even know this week.
That's
and so
incredible.
I feel privileged. I feel honored as maybe a Nepo baby.
Yeah. Own it, man. Own it.
I mean, it is what it is. Osmond is a foot in the door. There's no question. And it's a major kick in the teeth at the same time. Good and bad. And so you kind of take it for what it is, especially in an industry that I'm working in. In music, there comes a lot of expectation, doors slammed, and also things that were cut off because of that. So it's a blessing and a curse. But more than not, even when people said years ago, you need to change your name because it's holding you back.
Really?
I wear it with a badge of honor. And I love the heritage I have. And I stand on the shoulders of giants. And my dad is an amazing guy who's is my hero.
He is an amazing guy. I mean, even as a kid, I remember that, there were always, a lot of kids in the ward and babies crying. You know, when you're in a Mormon church, there's always a lot of noise going on. But I remember my mom noting that he would take the babies out and, you know, like kind of calm the baby so that your mom could stay in sacrament meeting. I know, isn't that lovely?
I just had a flashback, and it's so pertinent to this podcast. That's funny. At that ward house right up above Osmond Lane, I remember first the family that right after they would do all that sacramental service and they would, you know, pass, they pulled a picnic. Do you remember this family? They pulled a picnic basket out and they would have like a full on, like almost barbecue picnic. It was awesome. I was like, I was so jealous because I was so hungry.
No, that's amazing.
I want sandwiches
Sunday.
But
had Cheerios.
But they had these huge, this is the story I was going to say, they had these huge curtains.
Okay.
And it would get hot and sweaty in there, especially in the cold season. And I remember like the stake leadership, there was a stake president and of course the bishop and whatever high councils, they were doing a big thing. And they came right after they spoke and they came down right to our pew, right where our bench was. And my brother was like 3 years old, and he was underneath the curtain and he was drawing on the on the window because it was all steamed up.
Okay. Like with his finger, like making
and right as he was doing that, and they came down to shake my dad and my mom's hand. We're all standing there. He must have grabbed the curtain. The whole thing crashed down. So the whole ward looked over, and written right in the middle of all this steam was poo. My mom died.
How this was going to tie in.
Poo, of all things.
Of course.
And the stake president sees it. Everyone, my dad, my mom trying to cover goes, oh, he that wasn't him. He doesn't even know how to write. And he turns and goes, yes, I do. PLO. He's like,
well, that ties
my mom
in perfectly to why we're here today.
Just go. It was Winnie the Pooh is what he was trying to write.
Sure.
Yeah. Alex.
Let's go with that.
My mom was mortified. And she's going to be mortified that I'm on this podcast.
Right.
Let's go.
You don't have to tell her.
Because she loves you regardless.
Yeah, nothing lives forever on the internet.
That's right. Well, I think that's a perfect transition.
Yes.
We're going to get into some poo news.
Yeah.
You tell me what's up. I'll get out of the way. I'm just going to turn it to Joe Rogan 3 hours if we're not careful. You go ahead.
This is a roundtable discussion, so you know we want everyone's opinion. But
this is actually a Utah poo news about kindergarten training, potty training.
Yes. So they've got some new guidelines for kids coming into kindergarten and what it like that they do have to be potty trained and what that actually means.
Right.
And I don't know what the rules were before.
Right.
But it kind of seems like.
But can I just say, as I've been a teacher off and on for many years, and I've taught all different grades.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and this is really helpful because if you're teaching kindergarten and your kids aren't potty trained, you're going to be spending
if you got blowouts in there, it's a little disruptive.
I mean, so let's define what the new guidelines are.
How do you gauge that, and if there's special needs, and then
exactly.
Okay, so there are some exceptions, but it's that a child should be able to communicate that they need to go and then go without assistance. But obviously, of course, there's going to be exceptions. Yeah. There's developmental delays and kids with special needs. So it does say that there is some wiggle room and that parents should, communicate that to their teachers and that, of course, they will work with them. But, I was an aide in preschools in another life.
Right.
But, I mean, you never know if a kid needs help or not until it's too late, usually. Yeah,
that happens.
And so I do understand why, maybe they felt the need to put these guidelines in place to give teachers some, guidance on how to proceed with some kids. But yeah, I'm just like, I wonder what the rules were before, or maybe they just hadn't outlined them and felt the need to make it more concrete.
And it's interesting that it's just happening now because poo it's just the talk. So.
We're all living life.
That's right. We all have to participate.
We're all living that together. We share that in common. Who made the rules? What is this Utah specific?
So this is a Utah specific guideline.
Okay.
And this is the Utah State Board of Education that has just passed these guidelines.
All right.
So yes, some very Utah specific stuff that we're talking about today.
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, but it relates to the Osmonds. Can you pull that over here for a second?
Oh, yes. Suzanne found a treasure.
Is this yours?
Yes, I actually just bought this like a month ago.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, it's a newer magazine.
Remind.
But I
haven't seen this one.
Yeah, but it's just a history of the pop stars. Anyway, so I was like, when I was getting ready to come today, I'm like, I'm just gonna bring that on over.
Look at that hair.
Isn't that
I know.
wild?
Look at the eyebrows. I'm obsessed with Donnie's eyebrows in that. They're beautiful. Look at them. They look so good.
Look at David.
Oh, no. I can't hold a candle to those.
Oh my gosh, this is so amazing.
It's funny. I was just talking about this yesterday, speaking of Donnie and hair. Okay. So I took over, Andrew Lloyd Webber's people called me up and said, we'd like to talk to you about replacing your uncle in Joseph and the Amazing Technique of the Dreamcoat. Because he has to leave the show and all this stuff. And so they flew me up, they did this audition, and then they called Donnie and said, hey, guess who we're replacing you with? He's like, no way. That's so awesome. It was this time he had to step away from the show, and then they said, would you just stay on as a standby, Joseph? And I'm like, yeah, but Donnie's not going to go out. He'll have broken legs, and he's gonna sing at his own funeral. I promise you. He's that kind of. Right. But there did come a time he got laryngitis, and all this stuff was out. So I had a chance to play forever, and then they picked me up full time, and about 5 years total, I played this role. It was awesome. But the first time I took over, right around the corner from where this podcast studio is where Donnie called me up and goes, hey, what are you doing Saturday? I'm like, I'm in town. I don't know what's going on. He goes, okay, 12 o'clock, I want you to show up at this address. Which was right over here. I'm like, okay, I'll see you there. Okay. It was a hair salon. So speaking of hair, so I go into this salon right over here, and I don't know what's happening. He didn't prep me on anything. I said, hi, I'm supposed to meet my uncle somewhere. Oh yeah, he's in the back room. He's waiting for you. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Am I going to get a things that could happen. Are you going to get waxed?
I went to the back room, and there's Donnie naked on a table, getting full body wax.
Yes.
And I don't have any words. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And he goes, same thing you're about to do, dude. Get naked. What? He says, this part of the gig, man. You got to wear a diaper on stage. You got a loincloth for the whole show, pretty much.
Yeah.
You got to clean it up, you know what I mean?
He's gonna love that you just.
It's no secret. I'm sure he'll say the crazy. I was so mad at Donnie because it was my first time getting a full body wax, which was not the greatest. It was like Kelly Clarkson.
How much more empathy do you have for us now? Come on, it's got to be deep.
I had a reaction to the wax they used, and every follicle.
That's a nightmare.
Every follicle turned into like Peter Brady, like puberty. It turned into a zit. It turned into an infection. And so I was like this pin cushion. I'm about to go on stage, so they had to pancake makeup my whole body. Like before I go on.
These stories, they just keep getting better.
But he was right. He was absolutely right. It came with part of the gig. And
so did you have to continue to wax?
I did. I learned how to do it a little more delicately.
Yeah.
Right.
And strategically.
You got
One thing I learned,
tips.
and this is the tip for you artists out there that have to be on stage or something. So you can use like contouring makeup and everything. Right. I learned this. This is a great tool. Okay. And so many people started doing this after I did it. But you have to hit the gym. You got to be strong. You got to kind of look good. But you can never get like your abs popping hard enough. You can never get the pecs looking good enough. So what I would do is actually trim the hair. Instead of waxing everything, you trim just a light line
so there's like a shadow
around a contouring.
Smart.
And my brother came back after one of the shows. He goes, dude, how did you get abs like that? I'm like, check it out.
Just stay a little bit hairy.
All kinds of tips you get on this show.
Oh, do it. It works great. Unless you're up close. Then you're like, what the heck?
You're like, what is this? Like, that's awesome.
We're not going to get through this podcast anytime soon. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a Joe Rogan every hour.
Okay, so we're going to do one more little bit of poo news, but this one is, I think, very poignant because I'm sure we can all remember the toilet paper trauma of 2020 and the freak out of the shortage. I remember going the day I realized this is real, like this is going to happen. Right. Going to the grocery store, I was at Walmart and everyone is heading for the same place. I'm like, this is weird. What's everybody doing? Right. I get to the toilet paper aisle and like there was like two left, two of those like bigger packages, and this woman and I both reached for it at the same time.
Yes.
And she looked at me and I looked at her and we both just started laughing and we're like, is this happening? Are we like, is this about to go down over toilet paper?
Who won the tug of war?
You know what? I can't even remember how it happened.
Did you buy it and then split it?
No, we didn't buy it and split it. But I mean, it was friendly. I know there are stories where it wasn't friendly, where people got a little bit crazy.
It got ugly.
It got really ugly.
But bidet sales went up.
Day sales?
Bidets.
Oh, bidets.
Oh, bidets.
Well, yes. If ever there was an endorsement for bidets, it was COVID. Yeah. But anyway, we're facing this dock strike, or, the dock workers,
I was at Costco 2 days ago, and I had flashbacks of that time.
So what was it like? Were people
there were only
out?
a few left.
Yeah.
Really, again?
Well, so here's the thing, though. A lot of this panic is completely unnecessary. And the thing that's causing it is just the panic itself. Like a lot of toilet paper is manufactured in the US. It doesn't even come through the eastern ports. So we don't need to worry about toilet paper.
So just calm down.
So listen, everybody, relax. You're going to be fine.
Breathe.
Or just go ahead and purchase a Brondell bidet. Just a little.
Is that the brand? Is that it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one. We interviewed Brondell, and they were amazing. And they sent me a bidet. My life has never been the same.
Yeah.
Yes,
it is a life
My daughters
changer.
love it. Like we all fight over who gets to poop in that bathroom because like it's the best.
I remember I used to travel to Japan and the Orient and Taiwan and Korea, tons.
We're just kind of standard.
Performing in Japanese, doing commercials for Sumitomo Bank, and we did a lot of touring as the
We have something
But I
in
remember
common.
sitting on this computer toilet over there, and I don't even know how to
It's
flush the
true.
thing,
It gets
and I didn't even know what a bidet was. Like I was
Right.
not educated. in it.
Yeah.
I was a kid. So I'm just pushing buttons, and all
You're
of a
like,
sudden, oh my gosh!
You probably thought you broke
Yeah.
it.
Like I got the heated seats, as like the Mercedes of
Yes,
toilets.
right.
Yeah.
It's
But
the
and it would
best.
sing to me. It had all this music.
I know they're heated.
It's like cracking jokes when you're sitting there.
Why haven't the computer toilets arrived
I'm
to
sure
America?
they're coming.
They're here. They're just
They
not
are
so
here.
common.
We've
Yeah.
interviewed some really fascinating
Amazing.
people who are innovating like the toilet space, and it's
Yeah.
very cool. It's very cool.
They're actually can evaluate your stool and tell you about health problems.
You just may ship it off, right? Yeah. And
No, this- well,
and
there's
then
that.
they can
There's
check for cancer.
Well,
and
the
a few other things.
toilet does it. Like there's really high.
I said ship it off, by
Ship.
the way. Just so
Yeah.
you know.
But anyway, that's a whole other.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
just you guys, here are the things that you can worry about if you feel like you need to worry about something. It's things more like furniture, gym equipment, ski chair lifts. So, you know,
Oh,
you may
we're
have to
worried
hold
about
off on
that.
that purchase. Medical devices, cooking, some plastics, building stone, iron or steel, and car parts.
but not toilet.
Not
paper.
toilet paper
Okay.
and not water. So let's not freak
out, yeah.
out and make it hard on ourselves unnecessarily because, you know, we got enough toilet paper, guys.
The more you know.
The more you know. You're welcome. Okay, so before we jump into, we're going to talk about a recipient highlight that I'm really excited to share.
Yeah.
These are some of my favorite stories that we share on the podcast. You know, people who have been the recipient of a ZuLoo toilet and just how it's impacted them and made their life easier,
Or
safer.
Unpacked them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But before
Is
we
that a word?
do that,
You just made it one.
Unpack.
David, I want to, give you a chance to talk a little bit about TribeHouse.
Oh, sure.
and some
Yeah.
of the
Happy
things
to. I
you're-
mean, again, thank you for still watching and listening, everybody.
Yeah.
I
how
get a
we
chance
met,
to
was
wear
through
a
TribeHouse.
lot of hats in life. And so music and television is my forte, and it's what I know and still get the chance to do. So as a musician, I have my own big band. So it's an 18-piece big band, like
Really?
Frank Sinatra,
That's awesome.
swinging, Michael Bublé style. It's awesome. It's called the Osmond Chapman Orchestra.
Okay.
Caleb Chapman's my band leader, plays the alto sax in the group, and notorious in the
Nice.
jazz world. So we
Okay.
have a blast. I touring around with Marie for the last 15 plus years, still filling in for Donnie, to do a whole bunch of stuff. So I get a lot of opportunities to sing and perform still. I host TV shows. I'm on CBS every week, and then I host a kids show out of Times Square in New York called Wonderama. 9 years
Yes.
running every weekend.
It's awesome.
You're telling
So
me.
the music and TV. But when a few years ago, during the toilet paper rush, we became the least essential industry in music. You can't get together. You can't do shows. All the
Right.
tours, everything you put pre-production in is gone.
Yep.
So as my tours and my dates were just canceling, I kept thinking, man, I put all my eggs in this basket. We're getting crushed. I should start thinking about other things. I started getting offers for jobs at different corporations and companies. And my brother connected me. You would probably know him, Jared Stewart. Do you know the Stewarts up near Osmond Lane? So our dad's, George Stewart was mayor of Provo.
Oh, of course.
And
of course,
friends
Mary.
with my dad. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay, sorry,
one
everybody.
Of
This is
Jared's
like-
one of 11 kids,
Yeah.
started
Yes.
this company 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And my brother Doug's like, you know what, you should go to this one little cool thing. There's a bunch of cool people that have businesses, and they just kind of, it's a great
Network.
networking opportunity or a place to hang out. So I walked in, and I'm like, oh, it's a networking thing. That's a bad
Yeah,
connotation
yeah.
sometimes in Utah, but it's transactional. It's, hey, you want to buy a watch? Here's my business
Right.
card. And it's just sales, close
Mm-hmm.
deals, which you have to do in business. But I went into it like just my heart sank, and I left with my heart spinning because it was a totally different experience. Everyone there was not what's in it for me, but what can I do for you? This is going to change business, but it's going to change lives. This is how you do business with people you know, you like, you trust. And this is going to exponentially quickly build more relationship capital in a couple days than it would in a couple years.
And
the way you're doing this.
Tribe.
So Jared started this, and I reconnected that day, and I went, "What are you doing here? What is this?" He told me about the model. I said, "This is something I can get behind," because I believe whether this is show business, every gig we got was because of a repeat relationship, or you meet the same people on the way up as you do on the way down, or if you're selling toilets, or if you're selling cars, if you're whatever it is, it's relationships. That's what the focus is. So I came on board as the president of this company last several years while it was the downturn of showbiz. And now that's coming back, this is flexible enough for me to still be a part of it. I want to be a part of this group. It's corporate networking is what it is, but I call ourselves a friendship company. So there's lots of different tribes for different industries. Our executive tribe, our Tribe X, it's all C-suite level, CEOs to CEOs, 2-day, 2-night retreats, gatherings at our TribeHouse corporate office every month. And it's just like a family. People have been there for 17, 18 years and say, these are my best friends. Our kids know each other. We go camping. Oh, by the way, side note, we're doing millions in commerce together. That to me is like, that's awesome.
And that's how we met, because I went to a TribeHouse and I met David.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I facilitate the events and, of course, help oversee all the different tribes. There's an accredited angel investor tribe, Tribe Angels. We just launched.
There's a mom tribe.
This is awesome. The Mom Tribe.
The Mom
It's our
Tribe.
first,
You got to go.
I get excited about it. There's an event tonight, actually, at Thanksgiving Point, free to moms everywhere. So it's underwritten by the corporate partners that come in. So at Thanksgiving Point, Amara, Minky Couture,
So it's great
Roxbury,
for them.
the Hale Center Theater,
win-win.
all these great brands come in and support this group and allow moms a night out or a place to bring their kids, have an event. And so all these different tribes, they're just good people. And it's great to connect and tell stories.
Yeah.
The shortest distance between two people is a story. And that's what we're doing today.
The mom tribes are really great because there's professional moms, that are networking for professional reasons, but also moms just go and connect
New
and
moms.
say, hey, I'm having this problem with my daughter. Or how do you discipline her? How do you potty train? It's like so great.
New moms, old moms, empty nester moms. Come out and I look at a family of 8 boys. Every comment after I tell someone that is, "Oh, your poor mom."
Right.
And they're right.
Exactly.
And then I look at my wife, what a rock star. And she to find your tribe, to find your groups, your support, to be able to sit down and emotionally connect with people that just get you. Yeah. They know what it's like to deal with the kids and the soccer schedules and the blowouts and everything else. And have just a nice way to connect with your people is awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, come to TribeHouse if you want. It's exclusive business program. Usually it's like a membership for the different tribes. This one for the Mom Tribe is our first B2C, different kind of an offering, a scalable one that's going to go coast to coast.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's going coast to coast.
We're starting right here and we're expanding.
There you go.
Sorry guys, I got to put my glasses on because I'm turning 44 in 2 days. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. But I'm like, it's official. I can't see.
It happens. 44, it happens. I just got mine this year.
It's
this
crazy.
Summer.
Really?
And I just read an article about how your aging accelerates at age 44 and 60 something.
44 and 45 are the eyes, and then it hits again apparently at 65. Something to look forward to.
Plan. I didn't like that New York Times article. Okay, yeah, I know. You're living proof that you can still be super hot.
Because I'm in between that. I'm not 44, but I'm certainly not 64. So yeah. So now we're just going to share, like she said, a great story about a recipient.
I like what you said. The shortest distance between two people is a story.
Always.
This is a really beautiful story about one of our recipients in India.
Anjali lives in East Nandapuri Nagar, near Hyderabad, India. Due to high fever and lack of medical care during the COVID-19 pandemic era lockdowns, she was infected with peripheral neuropathy. Now she cannot move one of her hands and has weak lower limbs. Without family to help her, she languished alone in the local hospital during the pandemic. Eventually, with the help of some other hospital patients, she made her way home. Lacking access to a toilet in her home, and due to her handicap, she regularly was resigned to urinate and defecate in her dress. Due to the stench in her home and foul odors coming from her clothes, she often felt lonely, since none of her neighbors wanted to visit or talk with her. Only one of her neighbors, Fatima, helped her by giving her food and bathing her once in a while. To get around and to do chores, she uses a donated walker. Once she learned to use the walker, It was only with great difficulty, due to rough and uneven pathways, that she would go relieve herself in a plot of land behind a local church. Anjali says, "Today, I am a happy person. Now that I have a toilet of my own, I no longer hear criticism from my neighbors. I no longer have a fear of falling. I thank ZuLoo for support they have rendered to me."
We talk about this a lot on the podcast. Some of the things that we don't even realize are an immense privilege living where we live. If you can imagine feeling miserable and not being able to do the most basic, necessary human things, feeling completely stripped of your dignity.
Yeah.
And the isolation.
And the stigma. And
the mental impact.
You're such a vulnerable spot.
Yes. The emotional impact, the physical impact of not being able to safely and, easily relieve yourself. This is, because
why we love what we do.
This is exactly why we love what we do. I mean, we have 2 toilets within 20 feet of us right now. And for some people, it's having to use a walker to go behind a local church.
On a rough road.
That's rough.
On a rough road with a donated walker that, could be rusty. And, she's not only afraid, it's difficult, but she's afraid that she could fall and make her, situation worse.
Her age, but she looks like she's maybe only like 12 or 13 or...
I don't know. It doesn't say her age, but at every age, there's specific reasons why it could be more difficult or, but considering her medical condition, obviously that's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So, it's just one more reason to be grateful for what we have, for the things that we don't even think about on a day-to-day basis. And secondly, if you do feel so inclined, to go visit our marketplace.
That's
because you can help us, have more of these recipients.
You can buy this amazing toilet.
You can
our marketplace.
you can poo it forward.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
oh my gosh,
I just broke.
That's the t-shirt.
That's the
Poo it forward. Trademarked. Copyrighted. Did you know that diarrhea is hereditary, by the way?
Really?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Because of something in the GI system?
It runs in the genes. Sorry.
I knew there was a joke.
I can't help it.
I knew there was a joke in there.
This is my.
I'm so gullible.
This is my advice for everybody. By the way, my uncle taught me this, and he's so right.
Okay.
There's 2 reasons why you never, ever, ever drink toilet water. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Number 1.
Okay.
And number 2.
Wow. These are like some
you got 2 right here. Stop
These are some serious dad jokes that are so appropriate.
Oh my gosh,
listen,
really
before we right?
Bucket of fish.
Yeah. So
add that in.
with that being said, can you please share with me your poo story that you shared at TribeHouse with us?
Okay. Well, and I'll go into this. I know this is getting long, but when I was a kid and I walked in and I kind of I thought for sure you're setting me up because I walked in here, lemonade stand, and where we're doing the podcast, and there's a whole box of, I swear, bran muffins. Right? By the way, another word of advice: don't ever take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same night.
Right.
Bran muffins, guys. I've been in the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day parade several times as a music artist and as a kid and stuff. This one year, what they don't tell you is you got to show up at 4 a.m, and then you got to be on the float for hours.
Yeah, hours and hours. It's not so glamorous.
There's
really,
nowhere
show business
to go.
Yeah.
Literally nowhere to go. and at the beginning of the parade, I just remember how this kid show up, and it was all bran muffins. Just like your lobby.
Way.
Just bran muffins for days. And
You
it was
really did think we were setting
hot chocolate. Sorry about the camera. Hot chocolate. Just mowing down. Great. Oh, go get on the float. Now, this particular year, I'm performing, I'm singing. We get right in front of Macy's, and that's where I got to do the big performance. Willard Scott, This Is Today's Show, and everything like that. And now the Osmond boys. Before, what you don't see is coming up before that, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
wait, how old are you?
I'm probably 11.
Oh,
okay.
10.
Oh, you're older. I thought you were
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a kid.
Okay.
So I'm not thinking. My mom put us in the matching outfits, and thank goodness, by the grace of God,
Suzanne did a good job.
wherever she shopped at JCPenney, they had pants that were like made of like thick old wallpaper
really
or something.
Thick, like double whammy.
And I can't tell anybody
tough skin.
because on the float I had to sing "Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream," and I'm the lead singer. Make him cute is this the pop song of the classic song.
Yeah.
And we had all these dancing characters, these stars and these clouds, and all choreographed. But they built a big slide, and I'm the lead singer, so I got to run up these stairs. The camera's going to follow me, and I got to slide down this big staircase.
Oh gosh, I'm nervous. I know you made it, but I don't want to hear this.
Now here's a little trick. You can go to YouTube and see this.
You really can? Wow.
It's out there. I mean, everything lives on the internet. So what you don't see is the show must go on. The curtain's up. My dad taught me well, thank goodness.
Yeah.
So instead of just like collapsing and running off, jumping off the float, I just exploded.
It was a full evacuation.
I exploded and everywhere. I mean, I'm just like, oh my gosh, on national television, everybody's going to see this.
Gosh.
But you kept smiling.
And it happened. But now I'm thinking, that slide.
Right?
I cannot not go down the slide. And,
Oh my gosh.
so Wheeler Scott and the Osmond boys, we're in this freezing cold.
That probably helped.
And I'm just out there, I'm just selling it to the camera. Like, nobody has any idea what's going on downstairs. Run up this slide, I'm just like, please God, if you give me anything right now, just contain this moment.
Right. Literally contain
And
it.
miracles happen. It was like I slid down faster than I probably should have.
Those tough skin
thank you, JCPenney. Whatever.
Right.
I should endorse
We are
you
not
forever.
sponsored by JCPenney.
And my brothers had no idea. And then when I got off the float, like right after that, my mom's like, "What's wrong?" And
She knew she could
I
see
just
it.
burst into tears. My brothers never let me live that down. Just,
Yeah, I can
let's go
imagine.
into Macy's and clean you up. But I dodged the bullet. But still in my mind, this trauma of just nowhere to go. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
and just helpless, and it's that human element and
Yeah.
just embarrassment.
And your blood pressure goes up, and you're just like,
oh my gosh, the worst. I've never eaten a bran muffin since. By the way. Horrible.
Well, it's a good thing I brought banana chocolate muffins.
Oh, I'll go with that.
But that's funny, upstairs
national
they had the
television
brand
to do that
muffins.
on the
my
Macy's
gosh,
Thanksgiving
oh
Day
my
Parade.
gosh.
I don't think anyone really knows this story.
I mean,
now.
that is
Thanks a lot.
probably the most
I was going to say, we
unbelievable
can't top that.
Yeah.
We'll find that clip and include it down
You'll
below.
see it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
a lot.
guys. Thanks, ZuLoo.
But to the story you were sharing on a whole nother side, I also have an emotional appreciation for where people have no control, where they lose it. And what maybe a lot of people don't know is that I live with a autoimmune disease. Same as my dad, actually.
Yeah.
It's called multiple sclerosis. Believe it or not, at my worst, I was for about a year paralyzed in a wheelchair. From the chest down, I couldn't move even my toes. Eyesight was diminishing. And I was dating my wife during all this. When it hit, it started in my toes. It felt like a steamroller just crushing me. Massive pain.
How old
burning.
were you?
25 when it started. 26 diagnosed. Even when I couldn't do anything for myself. Music was done. I left LA. I actually moved in to her place in Vegas, and she was my caretaker. Because I can't move. And I hid out. I didn't tell anybody because I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
I didn't have answers. And I thought,
Right.
I was stubborn. I didn't know it was autoimmune. I didn't know there were lesions all over the brain, in the cervical spine and the thoracic spine. Just tons. In fact, my neurologist at this point says, David, this is the picture of a guy who could be totally paralyzed. How are you walking? So I recognize the miracle in my life.
Right.
That being said, I still have MS. I still have burning, crushing pain all over my body every second of the day. I don't say that to complain. I say it to celebrate because I realize how blessed I am. Because I can see you. I drove a car today. I can actually stand up from this chair and get to those 2 toilets if I need to.
Right.
And honestly, like Sherlock Holmes can like just scan a room really quick and see things. That's one of those things that I see
You
immediately.
scan, yeah.
I see where the stairs are. I see where the trip hazards are, and I know where the bathroom is. The worst sound on an airplane is ding, seatbelt sign. Because as my MS goes, so does my bladder, as I was told. So I remember years and years ago, as I started, even with the pain, started walking and shuffling again. It's the urologist looks at me. He goes in with a scope, and there's red rashes everywhere. He goes, no, that's not cancer. We're looking for cancer, but this is David. You have the bladder of a very, very, very old man. Just gonna paint the picture. And as your MS goes, your bladder will go. And so I had something I have to deal with constantly. It still is one of those things. It's part of life. And I've learned that garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
You know, how to regulate that, what diet does to you, no matter if you're sick or not. The education of a lifetime. When I was proposing to my wife, actually the day I was to propose, her mom passed away from breast cancer. And it was just a whirlwind in our lives. Reconvened a whole bunch of ideas for how we wanted to get married, how we wanted to propose. And I actually was, even though I couldn't walk and I'm in a wheelchair, I had been contracted to do a couple shows, and I called the people. I'm like, I can't even walk. I can barely even really sing. I can, but I'm in a wheelchair. And one of these performances was at the Delta Center, and there was a company you might know, USANA, really good friends. Every year I would be their MC or I'd sing their theme song and anything. This particular year, it was right after I had proposed to Valerie. And she said yes, the day before. Then we went and we sang. They carried me on, put me on a stool. And High School Musical was a big thing. So she and I duetted. We're soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. And I'm dying inside. No one knows because they put me in the dark. And I can barely sing this song because I know that I can't even move my legs. The last song, I wheeled myself out in a wheelchair and sang, was The Power of Two. Right after that, the head of USANA, his name is Dr. Wentz, he came to me and says, David, I want to give you a gift. Like, we don't know exactly what's going on, but I want you to go to my facility. It's in Mexico. It's like a 5-star resort. I want you to go there for like a month and a half or whatever it needs and just detox. Yeah. I learned that month. I went into this facility in a wheelchair and I came out shuffling with a cane. And I had more poo stories from that. And it's gross, I know.
Right.
But I learned more about my body in that one trip down there because it was a completely organic facility. They had their own chefs. Everything was raw, organic, no refined sugars, no refined flours. I mean, all natural. Wheatgrass enemas, coffee enemas, like everything you can imagine was just, it starts in the gut.
Yeah.
And inflammation and everything else. And even though there's lesions everywhere, let's get you healthy here. And I lost 20 pounds because I couldn't digest food. My digestion had slowed down. Each room had like this 5-star resort on the beach. And then it had like this in the bathroom, a huge table where you do your own colonics and use and just cleaning out. And oh my gosh, it was an eye-opening and everything else opening moment. But honestly, I never felt better in my life. And even though I came out of that facility, still not really being able to walk, I had more energy than I ever had in my life.
You did a reset for your body.
Absolutely. Really. And lost tons of weight. And all of a sudden, I just started feeling better than I ever had, even though I couldn't really even move well. So I tried to continue that process. It's still an ongoing battle that I deal with bowels and bladder and everything else, but it's life. We're all living it. And so I've learned how to kind of manage that for better and for worse.
Well, I think it's sharing that.
It's so important that we do talk about these things.
Yeah.
And sure, it's poop, guys. We all do it. It might be a little bit taboo, but here's the thing: the more we normalize these discussions and talk about, our journey through them, because everybody, either they're doing, having an experience themselves, or they know someone close to them that is struggling.
Go see a doctor.
You will,
Because it's real. But the helplessness.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on that chair where I can't move my legs, and no one's there. Valerie left, and she's off to work or something. To have to fall onto the floor and literally drag myself to a restroom and try to take care of myself. And as my fiance then, nothing sexier than having to clean your significant other.
What an amazing woman.
And sponge bathe you and take care of you that way. It also just made me so heartbroken for her. And for so many people that don't have that ability to maybe go on their own, to have the colostomy or any kind of other bag. It's something that I still have to straight calf every day.
Yeah.
In fact, because the bladder's so spastic at the very beginning, you have to do what you got to do. Most people ask me, so boxers or briefs? And I say, it depends. That was in the early stages.
Yeah. Okay.
Early stages to this is so funny. I'm going on tangents. I remember doing a photo session with our kids. And the photographer, she's trying to get them all to laugh. Like, say fuzzy pickles, say I like boys. And then she says, of all things, say, Daddy wears diapers. Daddy wears diapers.
No way. Did she not know?
And the kids got so excited. They go, oh, he does. They're this big.
Oh my word.
It is. I think I go. The thing is, I've learned how to even manage that, which is awesome. Speaking of Costco and toilet paper, I remember being in line with my daughter. She was so young. And there was a woman that pulled up to the cart next to us, this older lady who had a box of Depends. My daughter got so excited on a Saturday with everyone there, as loud as she could. Look, Daddy, she's got diapers just like yours. Like, oh my gosh, child, please zip
Our
it.
kids are the best.
Thank you.
The good news is now that working with doctors and other facilitators to know how to manage this, to not have to do those things. Because some people get Botox all over here. I actually get Botox in my bladder.
Yeah.
About 200 cc's because it's such a spastic. It's out of control. I can't control it. So
it
it's
kind
always
of paralyzes the muscles.
every second of the day, that feeling of, I got to go, whether it's full or not, it's doing that. I have that sensation. So I'm up 6, 7, 8 times a night because it's just, you can't sleep. So they've learned to go in with a needle about that long, about 3 feet.
Oh, geez.
It's very, and I'm in the stirrups. I have no shame anymore. And you go in.
You're like, just get it done.
You get a cystoscopy and you go in and they take a look. But now they go in with that needle and they poke every part of your bladder and they hit Botox to shut it down. Because now I can actually sleep at night. I don't have to go
That's
that.
amazing.
Depends. I can actually live feeling like a little bit more normal, which is awesome. And the perspective that gives you is as small as it is. I know the story of the guy who got his legs crushed and now he has colostomy. Now he has absolute innards are out. And so the cards I've been dealt might be rough and it's life. But man, I know what the other guy's holding and I would never trade these for anybody. That perspective is a gift. And to know when, even though life is crappy, life is tough. So are you. So be tough right back. And no one's getting out of here alive. Might as well laugh about it now. All these bumper stickers, they kind of help me too. But also to know that I have a community that resonates. And as you guys talk about it, maybe it's not the most glamorous thing. No. But I'm glad you are because there's so many people that need to hear it. No, they're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have no shame here.
We
welcome all the stories.
I've
from
told
periods
some really,
to poop. We want to hear it all.
We've all shared a few stories, but thank you so much, David. That's just really commendable of you to share that because it's vulnerable, but
thanks.
It's so important.
It's so
like
relatable. It's so relatable.
Yeah.
Like we've all got these stories or, we've got a loved one who's dealing with something difficult. And it is nice to just be like, guys, it is a safe topic. We can talk about this and to know that there are solutions. Yeah. I mean, we talk
I need to get that doctor's number from my daughter.
Yeah, I will.
Mexico.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right here.
I need to take her there and do this.
We promote a lot of really great products that help with digestive health on our marketplace.
Cool.
So, we're talking about this stuff all the time. You're in a safe place and you're welcome back to tell us more poop stories.
This is your poop
and regale us with these amazing
everyone has
poop
one.
dad
It's like
jokes.
it's the best. Oh yeah, potty humor. We love it. It's also cruel. I just remember my mom grew up in Spanish Fork, Utah, and her brother, my uncle Brian, told me this story. I never forgot it.
Okay.
But he had a friend. I don't know if they're still friends because of this, but whenever he would get angry at you,
oh boy,
he had this ability to just defecate on command.
Wow.
And he gets so mad.
That's a very specific superpower.
And he'd do the whole like monkey reach back in your pants and fling poo at his enemies. Nothing is. Oh, you.
This is defense.
You will win every fight.
About it.
You will win. You win every fight and lose every friend.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's crazy. In Branson, Missouri, we had this magician. I thought this was cool.
Okay, wow.
He was a magician that had birds all over his body.
Okay.
And he could like 27 birds. And his act, he could just pull out birds of paradise and doves and just the coolest thing. And there were these 2 huge birds of paradise that he trained to poop on command. Why he did this is because he would throw them out over the audience, and the last thing you want is for them to poop on the audience.
Right.
So this was the best part of the show that no one ever saw. But right before he went on stage, he had these 2 huge birds of paradise.
Okay.
And he put them on a perch on his finger, and he'd go, poopy, poopy, poopy. And they would just drop everything. in our
they
backstage.
Just clean themselves
Dave
out.
Hamner. Look him up. He's awesome. I mean,
Dave,
I just love these stories. I just love sharing them. So if you can if you ever teach your pet to poop on command,
that's pretty incredible.
I'm still trying that with our Yorkie. It's not working.
People are still trying that with their kids. You know?
Right, exactly.
Oh, the day they get potty trained is the greatest day.
Right. Oh, the day
ever.
that you have the day that you get to stop buying diapers. I remember my brother Blake, the last day he had to buy them, he was like, "Whoa!" He was celebrating.
Yeah.
Well, guys, on that note,
are we at 4 hours?
I know.
Sorry. Hopefully you're still here. Hopefully you're listening.
thank you guys, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much, David, for coming to see us here at the
Check
Poodcast.
out the show notes.
Yes, absolutely, because we're going to have some winners in there this time. And we hope to see you back here again.
Thank you for listening to the ZuLoo Poodcast. Follow us on social media at our links in the show notes below. To learn more, visit our website, ZuLoo.org. If you liked the podcast, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. For even more ZuLoo fun, send us an email with your toilet stories to podcast@ZuLoo.com for a chance to be featured on the podcast. This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.